Hello, 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 hello. I'm Lynn Browder, and I have a son, Owen, who is 11 and has autism. And don't mind the circle, it will be gone. So, he helps me paint the backgrounds, and then I paint the rest of our painting. I got it in my head, and I gotta make sure I do this in one direction, I suppose. Or this may not be of my dreams may not all come true as to what I'm thinking. And I have to get it in the right direction before I think. Because if I'm doing a circle and I'm doing a reef, and so I thought that I would do like pine cone type of look all the way around. But when it's this kind of thing, you have to do in all the same direction. And so it's fine, except for the fact that it will be somewhat upside down in part of the areas, which again, it's fine, everything's fine, no big deal. I can't decide that if there's this very bright blue in comparison, not a bright blue like I should use that term loosely, I suppose. It's a very bright blue compared to the other colors that I'm using. If I like it or if I don't want it to be part of the journey here. It just adds a little dimension to it, I think, as we're going along here. So, but it also kind of sticks out, so I almost need it like to be in every area. So I wanted to do this because I wanted to do kind of, even though today is December 26th, so technically Christmas is over, but I mean, really, we can celebrate it in July, right? So I'm just continuing to do all the things. So I'm doing the reef kind of instant. I was gonna do a tree, and honestly, this style of thing, a tree, is easier because I can go all the way down instead of back and forth. I mean, the design is the same. It's just because I'm going in a circle here that I'm overthinking it all. That's what happens. Is sometimes I overthink and make it a bigger deal than it really is, when technically. And I'm kind of making this fluffier anyways over here. So I'm just gonna adapt a little and add and subtract, and when it dries, it will dry differently as well, and so that is a story in itself. But just kind of, I kind of like this over here, this really wispy. I think that's what ended up happening, is I got some wispy, really, really wispy stuff happening. And that's probably what I'm gonna kind of go back in and fill in some more, a little bit more wispy looking things. And there's no rhyme nor reason nor rules of what we're doing here. It's just a reef with kind of a pine cone look. Or not pine cone, pine tree. Pine cone, pine tree, pine something. It's, you know, all of that. All of that. And see, technically now I should really be doing like this side on top of that side, because it's the one that's going to close in on that edge, but it doesn't. It doesn't really matter, because I'm going to put a bow type look on it. It's kind of like the line. That's why I said the line really didn't matter, because I was going to put stuff over it to begin with. So I just used it kind of as my base for where I was starting the fluff and stuff. Fluff and stuff, that's the technical term. So, see, yes, I could have done it where I met this in the middle, where it wasn't so up and down with the kind of the pine again look or effect, but and I could have just put like a bow and had it someplace, but eventually it's gonna everything's gonna go every direction anyways, so it's all good. It doesn't really matter. So this has got some kind of tighter little sections to it. But again, we'll just flip more curly cues out. So now I have to decide if I want words in here, or if I just want like a bow. And I don't want to drop any of that around because, you know, don't want it to should probably have even a brighter color on there. But I'm going to go back and kind of, this is the second blue besides that first, like there's two blues right there. And just when it dries, it might give it an extra little shape to it, maybe. Maybe. And kind of adding the thickness to it, I suppose. So now I can write joy and just put it inward, or I can attach it kind of to the ribbon, or I could stick it down here. See, the overthinking, that's what gets me every time. Every time. Just gonna make this a little bit bigger. So, I think I need a little bit more of the blue that I was using down here, so it sticks out a little bit more. And then kind of a mix of colors. Let's see. Oh, maybe like a kind of ombre effect here. Y. And J. There we go. Need to just make this a little more so it stands out. And I sign this O for Owen. L. And B. So, there we go. Thanks so much for watching. Toodles!